The DOJ Inspector General released an explosive report regarding the firing of ex-FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe. All the while, the Mueller probe continues on. Here to weigh in is former DOJ official J. Christian Adams. All right, good evening, Christian. You know, I have to tell you, when I saw that IG report, and there was a lot of talk about it before it actually came out, it was even more outrageous than I thought it would be. What was your take?
Well, it showed that you had the #2 man at the FBI repeatedly lying under oath, and we will see whether justice is blind, Judge, because there's people like Scooter Libby and General Mike Flynn who got in trouble for far less. The #2 man at the FBI repeatedly lying under oath to FBI agents, to the Inspector General, leaking information, coordinating a political hit job with his friend. On texts we know about. I mean, it really opens up your eyes to how politicized things became under Eric Holder, Loretta Lynch, and Barack Obama. You
know, Christian, we know from the texts that we've seen, you know, the drip, drip, drip of the Andrew McCabe and his subordinate Strzok and then Lisa Page. And it is absolutely stunning. I mean, should we believe that the FBI is a political operation?
Well, we know now that it was, at least in during the presidential election. What's really interesting in the IG report, Judge, is one thing that hasn't been reported is it says in there that the principal deputy associate attorney general, who's a very high-ranking person at the Obama Justice Department, made a phone call just a few weeks before the election to McCabe, telling him to shut down the Hillary Clinton Foundation criminal investigation. That was the most staggering thing in the report to me.
Christian, I'm going to interrupt you. The principal deputy, who is this?
Well, he's not named in the IG report. That's part of the mystery. I suspect somebody will figure out who it was. Bill Baer was a principal deputy AG around that time. Maybe it was him, maybe it wasn't. But the point is, this is a top-level DOJ official called the FBI and said, shut down the Hillary Foundation investigation.
And this is in the IG's report. This hasn't gotten any attention. I haven't heard about this.
Well, it's in there. That's the thing that shocked me the most, because what sort of Justice Department do we have a couple weeks before the election that presidential political appointees are calling the #2 guy at the FBI, essentially saying, give Hillary a pass? That's in the IG report. That's the real bombshell. And then you have McCabe, and that was the reason that McCabe started leaking through his friend, Lisa Page, to the Wall Street Journal, because they wanted to throw the principal deputy associate under the bus. That's the terminology that Page used.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is that the Inspector General said that he was leaking not in the public interest, which is allowed in some cases, but rather for his own self-interest.
Right, and
go ahead.
Well, that's also part of the story here. As you now know, we have James Comey, the #1 guy at the FBI. You have Andrew McCabe, the #2 guy at the FBI, who are busy leaking stuff to either make them look good, make Hillary look better, or in some cases make Trump look crazy. And that's what we had when we had a political FBI who injected themselves into that presidential election.
You know, what we know, Christian, so far is that James Comey lied to Congress under oath. We know that McCabe did as well. Under this Justice Department, what we know for sure is nothing is going to happen to them. And we know that there were all kinds of efforts to stop, as you just said, from the Inspector General, the objective Inspector General, the investigation of the foundation. Now, right now, what we've got to try to figure out is whether the American people can ever have faith in the FBI again, and whether anyone will ever be accountable again.
Judge, that is the most sad part of this entire story, is it tears at the fabric of equality before law. When Scooter Libby and General Flynn are prosecuted, when the left wages lawfare, this is what they do. They use the courts, they use the legal system to attack their enemies, to wreck their lives, like they did General Flynn and Scooter Libby, which, by the way, the president's pardon was spot on because the witnesses were misled.
Okay. All right, Christian Adams, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks, Judge.
All right. And they're the most outrageous.